Hey man, let me say this. I watched this one from the ground up. You know,
oh yeah,
coach.
So, hey, coach, before you start lying, let him get in here, coach. Don't start lying before he get in. Before he get in here, we gonna give him about another 30 seconds.
Rocky, you haven't started the off-screen stream yet.
It's not on there yet. It should be. It should. Give it a minute. You just probably running behind.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've tuned into the HBCU Coaches Corner. I'm your co-host, Rocky Miller, along with the Rattler, the Bishop, Mr. Stephen Campbell. And we have your featured host on today, on time. He's not running late today. None other than the SWAC legend himself, the SIAC Coach of the Year, the SWAC Coach of the Year, none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Johnnie Cole.
What's up, John?
All right, Coach Cole, this is a big one, Coach. This is a big one. Yeah. We've been waiting on this.
Yeah. I like your HBCU background there, Coach Bishop.
Man, sometimes you got to remind these folks, man. Sometimes they say it's DEI, Coach. They say it's DEI that did that in the back. That's what they saying.
Well, this what we bringing up on in a few, man. You know, this is special for him to be a part of the DEI. He would be great, you know, because of the things he's accomplished, and he just now getting started. But appreciate it, Rocky, the introductory. Of course, you two guys, man, mean a lot to me in holding the showdown and you know, making sure we doing the right thing and saying the right thing and make sure y'all keeping me straight. But the young man, I'll call him a young man because I'm gonna take the claim that I was his mentor and he was my mentee, and I seen him grow as a coach and start out at junior college and had opportunity to hire him on my staff. And the guy was like a sponge. I knew he was going to be successful. I think he's going to continue to be successful. He's a first, guys, and this says a lot about him. He's the first coach to go from a PWI and take a head job at a HBCU school. That's how much he thinks about himself. That's how much he thinks about the HBCU game. That he actually gave up a job. He called me several weeks before his championship game, and everybody know that he played in the national championship game. And he said, "Coach, man, I just ain't feeling it. I just want to be where I can coach, you know." And that's what you call a coach, meaning he don't coach mascots. He coach young men and help develop, and he win championships. He came on my staff as a first-year coach. Eventually moved up fast. I mean, hey, look, if I turned around, Coach, he followed me all around. If I turned around, I might have kissed him. But, you know,
Coach Cole,
he became more than just an assistant coach to me. He really became my little brother because that's how I was taught the game from my oldest brother, LC. But, man, I can't say enough about him. Prairie View A&M, you look forward to support this guy. He's going to come in. He's going to get it done. It's up to you guys to get it done. He's definitely going to get it done on the football field with no longer ado. I bring up my friend, my mentee, special guy. Man, I'm excited. I get chills bumps even when I talk to people about this guy, Tremaine Jackson, head football coach. The Prairie View.
I appreciate that, Coach, man. I feel like I got drafted, man. Coach got the full rundown, man. How y'all doing?
We doing good, Coach. We doing good. Coach, we had a great conversation in the green room, so to speak. A lot of interesting stories. Some you may want to share with us, and some I know you can't. So I always appreciate you. Give me one thing before we get into it, Coach. Something I want to, because you I said that you were putting your career at risk being a championship level coach at the Division II level and coming to a perennial loser. So let me just say this. Valdosta is nationally recognized for winning. Not only in this decade, not only under you, but under previous administrations and coaches. You come to Prairie View that's nationally known for losing, right? And I say, Coach, with that coming from that pedigree to here, it's a big risk. You're not only risking losing, but you're risking your reputation as a coach. Not many coaches leave Prairie View and go on to bigger jobs or whatever. And you were on a track as a Division II coach to do some things that probably no other coach has done. Why Prairie View, Coach? Why now?
Yeah, man, you know, like I told you before, I get that question a lot. And when it was rumored that I might be the guy to take the job, I was getting text messages that said, no, don't do it. What are you thinking? And here's what I'll tell you, man. It's very simple for me. Prairie View A&M gave Tremaine Jackson the opportunity to be a Division I football coach. Period. Everybody else in the country had an opportunity. We had won 25 games in 2 years. We were 25-3 in 2 years. We had won the toughest league in Division II, not once, but twice. And we were playing for the national championship, which at a place like Valdosta State is kind of the norm when you have, in the last 7 years, you had three different coaches play for the national championship, us being the latest. But, man, my phone wasn't ringing off the hook with PWIs. That wasn't the case for whatever reason. And we all can assume or think about the reasons because we see people in our profession that have done less than that elevate up, right? And so when Prairie View A&M called, the guy asked me one question. Hey, Tremaine, you played at the other place. I'm sorry, Coach Cole. I gotta call that the other place now.
I know.
You played at the other place. Do you have any issue with talking to Prairie View A&M? I said, issue? I want to talk to Prairie View A&M. And so, man, they gave me an opportunity. But when I interviewed and when I sat down and talked with our AD and with our president, man, it was easy because I wasn't looking for the logo. I was looking for alignment. I had been at places where the vision for the football program and the vision we had for raising men and women, because I had a young lady on my football team, it didn't align with what the university wanted to do. And that was okay. And so you know what they say, right? It's like we tell players now, if you don't agree, somebody got to leave. And so I had a better opportunity. And like I told you before, Rob, Prairie View A&M is 10 times the job that Valdosta State is.
I didn't think you were going to say that.
But nobody would know that because nobody's been in the nuts and bolts of both of them. I have. We're fully funded at Prairie View A&M. We weren't fully funded at Valdosta State. And that's not a knock. That's just what it really is. We were expected to do a lot with a little, and we did it. We exceeded the expectations. And now we have an opportunity to be on a level playing field back in my hometown, man, and we're excited about it.
Yeah. Coach, I want to make sure, because we got a lot of Prairie View fans watching, and I could share the conversation me and you had when you first started thinking about, Coach, man, I know what people are going to say. And one thing I asked you, I said, out of all the SWAC teams, if all the jobs is open, which one would you take? And you said Prairie View A&M. And of course you said for several reasons, the school, of course, where it's at, of course, you back close to home. Coach, I even had one of your old teachers, Miss Wanda Bookman called, taught you in school, man. And it's just a great connection. And I don't think people know it yet. And I don't know if you know it. I had a call from John Boy, one of the former trainers, and I'm getting calls from all like, man, he played Little League football for me and I coached him. And I just think it's a match made in heaven. And the first time when they called me and asked me what I thought about you being the head coach, I told them, Prairie View just hit a home run out of the ballpark.
Sure.
So I just want people to know that you just didn't pick Prairie View because they were one of the ones pulling you for the head job. You picked it because that's where you want to be at.
Yeah, I want to be here.
Yeah. Well, Coach, man, you the head ball coach. You coming into the SWAC. You know the SWAC in and out. So I'm gonna ask you a question outside of all that. Why you think that HBCU schools can't consistently beat PWIs?
Yeah, coming from that other side, we watch a lot of HBCU games, and I actually had the opportunity to play Miles College in the playoffs, play Virginia Union in the playoffs, two really good, well-coached, competitive teams that we had to strap up at Valdosta State and to beat. And so when you look at it, the one thing that's noticeably different across the country between the HBCUs and PWIs is the line play. It's the recruiting in the line play. And that's why we struggle to win, because we don't recruit the same type of linemen. The skill is undoubtedly the same, comparable, or better in most cases in the SWAC, in the MEAC, SIAC, CIAA. But when things get tough in that game and somebody want to grind it out, it's in the line play. Now, that's on the field. Off the field, things are just done differently. We took 3 buses. Might have been a fight. Might have been a fight to get 3 buses at the place I was at. But I remember the fights you went through trying to get us to take 3 buses. That, we didn't get them sometimes. It just was what it was. The way, the experience and the level of care for the experience is different on that side of the tracks at times than it is on our side. And so I think people need to recognize that on that side, man, it's big business. Winning matters. Winning football games. I was standing next to the president at Ferris State, and we were doing a little pre-game press conference deal, and they asked him why Ferris State why do they put all of their resources into their football team? And he said something different, and he's a black gentleman. He said, man, if we don't put these into football, these resources that we have, then and we don't win in football, nobody sees our programs. Nobody sees our top biology program in the Midwest. People see our programs because we decided 5 years ago to take all our resources, put them in football, and try to win this game. And that's why they've won 3 of the last 5.
Well,
and so it's a different mentality.
Yeah.
It's a different mentality, and I think we just got to do a better job of recognizing those two things.
Yeah, I think Rocky, this is where you step in, and me and you, when we first met, we were knocking heads a little bit because I was caught up in my feelings, and Rocky was always saying that he didn't feel that HBCUs made football important. And as we get to talking to you and we've talked to other coaches, it's kind of true. We don't look at it that way. We look at it as it's over there and the school is over here. And I'm glad that you was able to talk about that. Well, I think you had your first 30 days, kind of bring us up, on the staff and whatever you could share with us, because let me tell you something. Everybody don't call about you coming on tonight. So I hope you don't got some sleep and all that good stuff, because we're going to hold you tonight.
Yeah, no, we good. We good. We talked about that previous question, what's different? Prairie View A&M falls on the side that I just came from. And here's what I mean. Football is important at Prairie View A&M. AD Golf is a football player. He played at Bowling Green. AD Golf watches us work out in the morning because he in the weight room working out. He comes in my office and talks about the future of our football program. Now, I don't know if I hope he does that with every other sport, but I'm there to coach the football team. And so I've been at places in PWIs where I don't see the AD for weeks. And that's just not been the case. This first 30 days, man, I done seen our AD every day of them 30 days. And we talked about something that helps our program every day. And here's what I mean. You talk about staff. We have the largest staff in Prairie View A&M football history. There's 24 people on our staff. We've got 13 social media people. We got people running around with cameras. You would think we like Prime. I was at a workout this morning. We got the guy running with the little gimbal deal. I just met that young brother, but he does a good job because we need to put content out. We need to make people know exactly what's going on with our program so that folks can see that we're not what they think we are, that we are different, that we are premier, and we're a premier FCS program in the state of Texas, where I'm just going to say it, football is king. It is what it is. And so we've been able to I brought 6 guys with me from Valdosta State, pretty much the defensive staff and my special teams coordinator. They made the trek with me. They've been with me ever since I've been a head coach. And you know me, Coach, on defense, we run one thing. I don't call it, and they've tweaked it and done what they need to do with it, but I'm familiar with it. It's very familiar to me. And anytime something don't look right, I can get in there and say something about it. But I was able to hire Chris Buckner to be the OC. Brandon Anderson is our DC who came with me. And so it's a lot of people that I knew. We were really strategic with the staff. We hired based off recruiting and who had relationships in different places. I hired a high school coach from Georgia just because he had coached over 50 FBS players, and good coaches, good high school coaches got connections to good high school coaches, and we want to be in that portal. And if you don't have people with connections all over the country, then it's not going to work for you very well. And so we were really strategic in how we hired, but we were able to create a couple of positions coming in. Coach Colbert is the football ops, and we hired Chris Williams to be the director of recruiting and player personnel. Not too many times do you see a HBCU with a director of player personnel or director of recruiting operations. And so we knew we needed folks. It takes a village, but we had to create our own village within our building. And then once we hired a staff, we hit the road recruiting. And it was, I love me some Houston now. We're going to recruit Houston inside out, left to right, up and down. And so we were able to go out and be visible in Houston. We didn't sign a lot of kids from Houston because we weren't going to settle and just sign what was left. We wanted to make sure we signed people that could actually help Prairie View A&M. But we were able to get to Dallas, find some guys left, some really high caliber players. And we were able to get in a couple of recruiting battles late with the group of 5 schools, and we flipped one. We made another one cancel a visit. We were able to get in there and fight. And then now we're getting ready. We're getting our team ready, Coach. Like we call it dog training. What we know is mat drills and things of that nature. We had our first one today, and we're trying to get this roster ready. So 30 days full of trying to move, get a house, get a car, because I hadn't had to buy a car in 5 years, and so I had to try to buy a car. Got a house, still waiting on my furniture to get here. Coaches are getting placed in their homes and things of that nature. But man, it's been 30 days of fun, and I wouldn't want to take it back.
Yeah, well, about your athletic director, he actually played with one of my homeboys. So when he telling them lies, give me the stats, and I'm gonna go check. I'm gonna check.
Nah, that's my guy, man.
I'm gonna stat check him, Coach.
Yeah,
Coach, I know it's I know every time I talk with people about you, and I want you to talk about this too. Everybody's seeing you on national television. You're coming in at number 1. And the thing I tell them, well, it was only 2. You didn't play well. I said, well, there's only 2 teams left to even see play. So I don't know how he go from because he had a bad game to, oh man, it's questionable about Kenny Coach. What happened or what did happen? How did you talk with your players? Just kind of give us a scenario of what really kind of happy. Y'all didn't show who y'all really was.
Yeah. Culmination of two things. I did a bad job of fighting for what we actually needed when we went out there. But when you haven't had that experience of going out there and being out of routine like we were, then you don't know what you don't know. And so I take full responsibility for us not playing well because the lack of me knowing what to expect led to a lack of preparation, in my opinion. I'll give you this example. We play in the national championship game, and let me just say this, not a lot of people play in national championship games. And so when you play in one in Division II, you leave on Wednesday. Well, Coach, Wednesday is that day. It's a work day. You got your scout team. Well, half the scout team was gone home because it was the break and the cafeteria was closed. So when the cafeteria closed, you can't make nobody kids stay and give you a look when the parents telling them to come home, right? Mm-hmm. So that happened. We get on the plane. We only can travel 58 players. That's the NCAA rule, right? They only gonna pay for 58 people. Well, Ferris State gets there and they've taken 90 people, and they've paid the $1,000 a seat past 58. Well, where I was, we was cutting grown folks to not get on the plane. There were certain people that couldn't get on the plane. I was cutting trainers because we just didn't have $1,000. So we get there, and now we're going good on good when we've been doing scout teams all week. And ultimately, we were just out of routine. And not to mention, we were out of routine, and we were 14 scholarships behind the team that we played. And then when you add up that they came out looking like the New York Football Giants, and they're really good, and they got a well-run program, and they had been to the national championship 4 previous times with the same coach, right. It made for a bad day. But even then, we had an opportunity to be successful. We turned the guy free right before the half, and they scored a touchdown, and it just ended up being a bad deal. And people, I'll clear this up to everybody right now, right? Because, the people from Valdosta, they watch. They might not say, they might act like they went to Savannah State, but they Valdosta people, right? I had the job at Prairie View 2 weeks before we played in the national championship game, period. So if the rumor that's out there that we lost because I had taken another job, if that was the case, we would have never beat Virginia U. Right. And so it's just one of those deals where it wasn't that I was taking another job. We didn't prepare well because we were out of routine. Totally my fault. And we didn't play well when we got there.
Hey,
it was what it was.
Hey, Coach, I also want to say something else, Coach. That quarterback from Ferris State was a bad man.
He's a good player. And they got a lot of good players. I'll tell you this, Coach Cole, you'll like this because of how we recruited before. Their 3 technique played at the University of Michigan in 2016.
Wow.
He was an Army All-American in 2014. So this dude was 10 years removed from high school. And he looked like he was 10 years removed from high school. But in Division II, you can play, as long as they got semesters, that's right. That's fair game. That's right. And so they did a really good job of recruiting the roster and getting really good players.
He was supposed to be a 5-year NFL guy right by now, huh?
A 7-year vet and retired. And so, and we had some guys that were similar situation, not 10 years removed. I mean, but here's what I'm proud of. We were the 5th team in Valdosta State history to go undefeated in the regular season. That's big in 42 years of football. And especially since the success all happened from 1996 to 2025. No, we were good in the 80s. They were good in the 80s. They weren't what we were when we got there, or what they had been in the early 2000s. And so I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the players that we had because we did it in a new era of football. This wasn't a 4-year football team for us. We had 81 new players come in the program in August. Mm-hmm. And so we had to merge and bind and jail and do all that in a shorter camp than what Division I gets. And so people always talk about that game, and I guess I'll forever be defined there by that. But we went through a hurricane. We moved our operation to Atlanta for a week. We were all over the place. We had a game canceled. We still found a way to go undefeated all the way to the national championship game. And for that, I'm forever indebted to those players and that staff.
Yeah. Coach, and some of the people, Rocky, want to call in.
I got the number up.
Rock's gonna put the number up, so we'll continue to talk. But when we get a call in, we're gonna try to, because everybody want to know who this Tremaine Jackson guy is.
I got
it's
a
the
question
kid from Acres Home. It's the kid from Acres Home, Texas, man.
Hey, Coach, well, put your gun up, Coach. No guns allowed on camera. And you'll get that if you from Houston, you'll get that one. But here's the deal, Coach. I'm a Texas guy. I'm from here in Waco, Texas. I've been around a long time, and I always said there's no reason why Prairie View should not be an HBCU powerhouse, considering where it sits. Not only being in Texas, with the proximity to the richest, most fertile recruiting ground for football players in the world, which is the 713. You can argue with your mama, but I'm gonna tell you, I put Houston up against anybody, any metropolitan area in the nation. Here's what I want to ask you, Coach. How do you improve Prairie View's status among recruits in the state of Texas? Because that's always been the issue. They would go to Sam Houston. They would go to Stephen F. Austin. Now Tarleton State. They would go everywhere else but Prairie View. How do we get those kids to recognize Prairie View as a legitimate football program?
Two things, Rock. The first thing is we got to get those kids to campus, because one of the issues we found out in the short time that we've been recruiting is when we had some transfer guys come to campus and they went, Coach, I didn't know all this was here. And they're from Houston. I'll give you one better. One of them went to Cy Springs.
No way.
Which is less than 25 minutes from Prairie View A&M. And he was like, Coach, I just didn't know we had all this. And I said, son, school ain't even in yet. If you think that us walking around on a bare campus is something, man, wait till school starts. And so that same young man at the team meeting tonight went, Coach, I'm having a blast. I said, well, son, I need you to go to bed tonight. We're going to work out in the morning. Now, I'm glad you're having a blast. So we got to do a really good job of getting people to come to our campus. How do you get people to come to your campus? You have camps. You recruit your tail off. You have events on campus to get people to your campus. Unofficial junior days. And we're going to have our spring game April 17th. We're going to call it PV Day. And it's right before Good Friday. Ain't nobody got to work Friday. We're going to bring, hopefully we get 300, 350 students, recruits over to our campus so that they can see what we had to offer. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, man, you got to win. You got to put together a product to where you can win. And so here's what I mean by winning, though. We can't be what people think we are. And one example, if at Incarnate Word, they have the highest film service that you can have, right, for coaches, then we can't be having the huddle. We got to match it, or we got to exceed what they have in things. Because when kids go on recruiting visits, they look at everything. And so we got to be able to not put ourselves in this box as just an HBCU. And because when you do that, things that they think just HBCUs do. So we're proud to be an HBCU. I wanted to come back to the HBCU environment. But man, I'm a college football coach. I'm not just a black college football coach. I don't even know if that's a thing. I don't know if anybody in the SWAC is a black college football coach. Man, we're college football coaches. We fought long and hard to get out of segregation. Why do we put ourselves in a box? why do we continue to call ourselves something other than what we're playing? Our football field the same as it is at the University of Houston. But why is it that they're so superior to us? The answer is it's us. And we got to stop doing that to us. And so I sat and I used to listen to some of the conversations y'all had with people, and people talk about, oh, black college this, black college that. Man, don't label Prairie View A&M football as a black college. Label us as a college football program. I spoke to the Houston high school coaches. I said, here's the elephant in the room. We recruit white kids at Prairie View A&M. So stop marking the white kids off the list because you think we're not going to recruit them. Man, we recruit football players. And so if we can manage those two things, man, and get people to understand that, I think we'll be where we want to be at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's good to hear that, Coach. I think Coach Cole said it once when we was talking on the phone. He said, I coach men, not skin.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're gonna definitely get into this later on about these celebrity coaches, Coach. But this is about you, and I'm glad all the stuff that you brought up. I want to talk about how great of a recruiter you were. And that was one of the biggest things of our success, of my success, was how you could go out and hunt. And you definitely believe in that. And I remember you went and got a guy named Jackson that was being recruited by UCLA and USC, but he had a broke ankle, and I don't know how you pulled it off, but you pulled it off. And I'm bringing that up because you said, and that's always been, even when I started off as a young coach, if we could get players, these players to campus, we got just as good enough chance as anybody else. And once we got that gentleman to campus, Rocky and Coach Bishop, yeah, he was Defensive Player of the Year, in the conference, and he terrorized people. So that's real. That's a very important part. I know it's early. How many guys are you thinking you're gonna return on offense and return on defense?
Well, we returning 0-0, Coach. Let me tell you why. The guys that they were in the fall, I don't want them guys.
My
goodness. The Bible talks about having a new creature. I want a new creature. And so whoever you were, don't bring him back. We're going to coach you up this spring, and we're going to bring back some guys that are of us now. And there were some good players on this roster. People automatically assume that all these things when there's a coaching change, there was good players on this roster. And so we look to keep some of them and then add our flavor to it, in the way that we add our flavor to it. You talk about Marquise, man, me and Coach took him to the Grand Lux on his official visit. And it was something about the strawberry lemonade that made that joker sign right then and there. And he ended up being a good player. But the reason why I was able to recruit is because I worked for a guy that allowed me to recruit. And I think that people don't understand I didn't have to answer to the coordinator. Coach, I got to a point with Coach where he was like, hey, Big Jack, just go get him, baby. That's what he did. Big Jack, just go get him. And so we were able to, I looked at some coordinators and was like, hey man, Coach Cole said we can sign him. Huh? Yeah, dog, don't worry about it. You just call the players. And Ram got to the point where he didn't question anything. And so I'm sitting there working for the head coach that lets me go and sign and travel and do what we need to do. And it paid off. But I'll tell you this too, Coach, man, it was being able to really help with that roster really set me up for what my career ended up being. And, everybody's got general managers these days and all this stuff. I was able to be that, the compliance person, the D-line coach, the head recruiter. And so I was able to be in on some things, man, that really helped me in my career, but I was allowed to do that. And so that's just the coach's credit, man, for allowing a young guy, and he don't remember this, but he told me when he hired me as a tight end coach, damn, coach, we a spread offense now. So the tight end coach need to be the recruiter. And so I had to find my way. And so really grew me up, man. And we're going to do that same thing here. I joke and say we were the portal before the portal. So it's not new to me. And we're in familiar ground right now.
Well, Coach Jackson, as a friend of Coach Cole, and as I've gotten to know him, and he explained to me in great detail the situation, and many times on this show, he's explained the situation at TSU, right? With that being the case, you went through that situation, whatever it was, thrived, and became an awesome head coach. Can you, in 2 minutes, if possible, can you sum up what happened at TSU, and then kind of what is your opinion on why did Coach Cole end up being the man left out in the cold? Just for the pun not intended.
Now you ain't got to answer that.
No, I'll just tell you, and I'll say it like this. There's something, now that I've been in the seat, and Coach used to always sit at the edge of the table and say this to us, man, when y'all in this seat, you're going to understand what this is. And now that I've been in the seat, there's something about a confident person that does exactly what they tell you they're going to do. And when people find a little slip and think they got something, then they try to tear you down. And that's just what happened. Man, Coach wore rings. Coach was confident in what we were going to do. Man, we sat in staff meetings and we talked about the day we were going to hoist the trophy up in Birmingham. He and I went to Birmingham to watch Prairie View A&M win the championship the year before.
In 09.
And then we were sitting in the press box, and that dude looked over at me and said, "We'll be back here next year." And well, not everybody can deal with a confident person. So everything that might have happened, everything that might have come out or was written, it's like the internet, man. Don't believe everything you read. If you weren't there, you don't know. And so there's some things that I sat back and looked at and went, that didn't happen. But when people are after confident people and people that are winners, you know, they go to no end. And so I'm still, to be honest, I'm still not all the way sure how we even got to that point. But I do know that had we not, man, this league, it wouldn't just be Tremaine Jackson as a head coach in the SWAC. We had several head coaches on that staff, and we would have littered this conference with all having been at the same table at one point, because there was a lot of talented people that Coach was able to put on the staff that are really good football coaches, but they were really good people, and they were future head coaches had we been able to see that thing all the way through.
Hey, you know, Coach, and this is not something that Coach Cole has said to me or anything like that, but I will say this, because me and Coach Cole has had long conversations, is that you come into this conference and ended up being a winner, in my opinion, will somewhat vindicate Coach Cole and his reputation by providing evidence that what you guys did at TSU was right and proper, and you guys were just flat out winners. And that's all it was. It was just winning coaches doing winning things. And so I don't mean to put pressure on you any more than I already have, Coach, but I think
Rob,
you winning could do that for Coach
You
Cole.
ain't putting no pressure on me, Rob. We're gonna win. And I make no qualms about it, bro. I'm not, like I told him at the press conference, I'm not talking big talk, man. We're gonna win because we have a structure and a program that we're gonna put into place that wins. And again, I'm not a black college coach. I'm a college football coach. And when you're a college football coach and you're confident in the belief of your program, you're gonna win. What we have to do is find out the things that weren't happening on Saturday that made us lose. what are the things on campus that are making us lose? Why are we not being successful? Everybody wants to run the players. Everybody wants to talk to the players, but there's other things on a college campus that contribute to whether your program wins or loses. And we've been able to attack those things with our AD. We've been able to attack them with the top administrators, and we're working on getting those things to where we need at a championship level, because championships are won from the top. I don't care what nobody tell you. I done seen it on every level. And I'll give you this example. I was at Texas State in 2019. We got our brains beat in. They switched situations and administrations, and now Texas State going to bowl game. They did it with some of the same players that we brought there in 2019. And so it's a holistic deal. And when people stop trying to put the wins and losses just on the coach or just on the players, then we'll all figure this thing out. But we're gonna win at Prairie View A&M. So you're not pressuring Tremaine Jackson about winning, because we're gonna win, bro.
Hey, Coach, we got the Rattler here, and he's shaking. I see him shaking over there. He try to remain calm. I gotta see what Coach Campbell. What is FAMU thinking right now with the big bad Tremaine Jackson?
Oh, don't do that.
Coming to the SWAC.
Coach, I had to listen. See, now, Coach, now you get to the intelligent part of the show. I had to let them do all the talking and all that. See, we about to talk football, Coach. See, now, I had to let them, I didn't interrupt anybody. But, Coach, listen, see, I'm gonna flip this. See, I'm not gonna let you get off the hook on a couple of things.
Okay.
The comp is not half empty; it's half full. That squad has went to the SWAC championship twice in the last 4 years. It's got the best facilities in the SWAC. Like you said, you're right there in Texas. You got a great coach. You got some good-looking women on the campus. So I've always said, and my PV people will tell you, I am an undercover PV fan. There is no reason why PV should not be a power. I have said that from day one. I've been on every one of these platforms. So I'm going to hold you accountable, because you should win at Prairie View. So I don't want to hear none of that Rocky talking about and all that. Because to your point, is that if you get people on that campus and let them know how great, you're talking about a top 5 academic institution as far as HBCUs. I'll have to use that designation. But I also say this, Coach, and this is a little secret that I know. I got a lot of friends that went to Texas A&M played on that football team. You know what they would tell me, Coach? It was the football players from PV that graduated that would give them jobs. I'm telling you, and these are NFL guys. I'm not going to say their name because out of respect. So what I'm saying is you're already working with that. So now with that being said, Coach, there is a lot of expectation from the Prairie View fan base. What is your short-term expectation and what is your long-term? What are you going to call the game? Because I tell you one thing that I know, as a lot of people are saying, the first short-term is that first game that y'all are going to play against, as you say, the team down the street. So what are you trying to build right off the rip? Because I heard you talk about perceptions and things like that. How far is your short term? What are you looking to do? Hey, what is your goal for your first year coming out?
Yeah, well, the first goal, Mr. Campbell, is to win game one. And what we talk about as a program is you can't talk about winning the SWAC West, winning the SWAC without winning game one, because it's a unique situation throughout the country where at one point we were the only 2 teams playing in a conference game to start the season. There's a couple of more now, but you talking about how you gonna start in your division and in your conference and being a rival. So short term, we do need to win game one, but also short term, we expect to compete at a high level, be more prepared, be more disciplined, be more ready for football games than what we might have been before. And that's not taking a slight at anybody. That's just doing things the way that we do them now. And so I'm looking for small victories leading up to the first game. I'm looking for us to make sure we got our shoes tied up in our workout. I'm looking for us to make sure we're not wearing slides all over the place when we come in the weight room. I'm looking for us to make sure that we don't have on jewelry and earrings and hats in the building. Like those are things that we don't allow to slide. And some people might say we old school, but that's just how we do it. That's not how that man is or how he wants it. That's how we do it. And so if we can't give them to give up those things, how are we going to get them to run a route? How are we going to get them to play the right coverage? And so there's some things that I'm looking for as the head coach that are what we call small victories leading up to game one. Now, when you flip to long term, we expect to be 10-game winners year in and year out and compete and win the Celebration Bowl as we win the SWAC West and as we win the SWAC Championship. That's what we expect to be. We feel like we're going to build ourselves to the resources that it takes to do that. We feel like we're going to recruit and prepare our guys at the level that it takes to do that. And we think even with this new house settlement coming down, that Prairie View A&M is going to remain competitive in that manner when it comes to playing FCS college football. That's what we believe. And so we got to make sure now. Let me say this before you go, Mr. Campbell, because our alumni need to understand something. It costs to win. And so
let me turn
I
that
just
up.
laid out short term and long term. I need people to match me on their short term for the alumni. I expect them to donate $35 starting tomorrow. We're about to launch a campaign.
Coach, now, this is my side of the show, Coach. See, Coach,
where's that link at, Coach? Where can I find that link at?
We'll put it out on. So I can't put it out till tomorrow, but we got a fundraiser that starts tomorrow. We're trying to raise $350,000 before our first game, and it starts with just everybody giving $35. Give us $35. And let's see how many $35. Now, if the good Lord leads your heart to give us $35,000, we'll take that too.
We'll take it all.
We'll take that too. But you cannot have an expectation of me and you be expectation free. And for a long time, the Alabamas, the Texases, the Oklahomas, they are those people because their alums refuse to watch them be anything else. And so I need the alumni to make a decision. What are you willing to pay for? What do you want to watch? And then you can hold me as accountable as you want to, but you can't hold me accountable behind the keyboard and you ain't even got a ticket. You watching the game on ESPN stream, but I'm a bad coach. You're a bad fan. And so we got to make sure that we're holding each other to the same accountability. And I tell everybody in our alumni, man, we got to come on with it. We can't just beat people off of our academics and the fact that the heel is jumping. We got to come on with it. And it costs to come on with it. And so that's the expectations that we got.
Mr. Campbell,
real quick, let me slide these in, and Campbell, you can go right back. One of your alumni, call you TJ, known from the Houston North Side. He said the 44 is with you 200%. Then, of course, I
200,000 from the 44.
Then I talked to my homegirl. She getting her group and go invite you down to her 5-bedroom house out in Sienna Plantation with a group of folks. So, they coming in as you talk, Coach. So
that's it.
Now, Coach, I had to change my background now because you talking about now. See, that's a check right there behind me, Coach. That's getting donate. See, Coach, that's $80,000 check right there, Coach. So, see, I'm going to challenge these PV people because I told them the only way you went, you remember, we were national champions over here at Florida A&M, Coach. And that's how you win that because you cut them checks like that. So I'm going to tell all my PV people, I don't want to hear all this talking about I want to win. The only way you're going to win is if you do this, what I did in the background. So I want all my nephew line, I want you to get your classmates and get that crew together. And I need to see that check for the coach. Now, Coach, I want to go to the next thing because recruiting is so important. You're in Texas, you're in a hotbed. But and shout out to my nephew Blue on the Blue Bloods. I saw your interview there. But I want to talk about your recruiting philosophy. I thought very interesting. There's 2 parts I want to talk about. How you're going to work the portal between getting guys that are already in the portal versus high school, and also how long they're going to only be on campus, Coach, and what they're actually going to do. Why don't you tell us about, hey, you're letting them know you're not here to do a song and dance presentation. You're here to present them to be a football player in Prairie View, and also you're mixing what you're looking for to be a Prairie View Panther.
Yeah, so we talk about recruiting the portal a lot, right? Because at some point in today's game, you're going to go to that portal. You're going to go early when you're new and you can control it and develop and get your program together, or you going to go when you're in the last year of your contract and you just trying to figure out something to make it last. We choose to go early. We choose to start with the portal and make sure we get guys that are ready to go. I missed the first signing day because we were playing. So there's some good players left, but it's kind of like going to the rack at Nordstrom's, right? Like before Christmas, it's probably going to be a little picked over, and you might not get the best shoe. But when you come back the next year, you know when to go shop. And so we're going to get in that portal. We make no qualms about it. If you know me, you know I've always been a 21 and up guy. And but we have some 18-year-olds put X's on back of their hand to get into this club called Prairie View A&M. And so we recruit both. We do think your high school depth can help you later on down the line as you develop it. But you got to be careful with high school players, because you can put all this money into them and develop them, and then they leave on you. And that's just the game that we play, right? When I was at the other place, my third best receiver ended up going to a group of 5 and being their best receiver. Now, tell me how that works. How you go from Division II to the FBS? You won him all conference in Division II, and you're the best receiver in their school history in 1 year. And so we put a lot of time in that guy. We developed that guy. But at the end of the day, he had an opportunity he couldn't pass up. So we manage how we do that. When you talk about recruiting visits, when you come to Prairie View A&M, and Coach Cole remember this, we used to bring them in on Friday midday, wine them and dine them all night. All night. I mean, within the rules, but wine them. I mean, took them to some fabulous restaurant. We go to the Grand Lux. I mean, we were at a place that had all of that. So sometimes we would argue over what fine dining we were gonna take them to. Hey man, let's take them to Papa Do's. No man, I ate fish last week. Let's take them to Fogo de Chao. We just had options. We do that Friday. We put them on campus Saturday. We wine them and dine them again Saturday night. Then we get them up and wine them and dine them for a brunch on Sunday, and then get them out of there. 48 hours of just straight whining and dining. Man, when you come to Prairie View A&M, we bring you in on a Friday afternoon, take you to Topgolf, stay there for about 2.5 hours, send you home to the hotel to go get you some rest, bring you over the next day, show you how we're going to get you better as a man, as a person, as a student, as a football player, and we get you out of there before 5 o'clock. It's less than 24 hours in sometimes. Well, people say, why do you do that? We do it because nowadays, a lot of these parents can't handle the whining and dining. Everybody always talk about the kid. A lot of parents can't handle the whining and the dining, and then that kid comes back and you start coaching that kid, and he go, man, that's not the same guy from recruiting. And they call it de-recruiting. I ain't got time to de-recruit you. Here's what it is. We bring you in, we show you this, we go through our blueprint. You either want us or not. If you don't want us, that's fine. Somebody does. And you'll watch us hold up this trophy if you don't want us. But what we found is if we put it straight to kids, if we tell them what it is, parents that still parent appreciate that. Parents that give out iPads so their kids can leave them alone, they might not appreciate that. And so you got to find the right people. Here's the other reason. If you're not a straightforward type of kid, you won't make it here. You won't make it in the program because we work straightforward. We get you on that line early in the morning and it's coming and you can't run from it. And if you do, you got to go find compliance and get in the portal. This is tough, but it's tough to win. And so, man, we choose to do things our way, and it's worked for us everywhere we've been.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach, I love that coaching talk, Coach. Yeah. I heard a coach the other day say, you got to choose your heart. And again, I'm not talking about nothing freaky. When he say you got to choose your heart, what he means is it's either the hard work, like you say, in the early mornings, the working out, the doing what you're supposed to do, the being on time, all that, or you choose that hard in the fall, watching them scores on the opponents go up and yours be down. You got to choose your heart. And so I like that, Coach. So, but this is what I want to say, Coach. What can what can be done? Because one of the problems I have as a Prairie View parent is that the alumni is a tremendous alumni. The reason why my daughter goes to Prairie View is because of the success of some of my friends and classmates and people that I grew up with, the success they've had by being Prairie View graduates, right? However, they're very apathetic about coming back on campus other than homecoming to experience a game. What can be done to improve that situation? Because I think if you're going to be a winner, you got to have butts and seats. You got to create an environment that's about winning. And after going through the SWAC a little bit, going to FAMU, and also experiencing Southern and even Alabama State on a spring game, that environment at Prairie View leaves something to be desired. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Two things. We've got to do a better job as a program of really going out to the people, doing more community service events, really getting our team out in front of people. So people support people that they believe in, man. Like, nobody, how dare we ask somebody to buy a ticket to watch us play and we've done nothing for them? How dare we do that? Like who are we to do that? And I tell our team that all the time. Also, the second thing is, how dare we ask somebody to come watch us and we put a lukewarm, mediocre product out there? Can't do it. And man, this is what it is. Like, we need to help people and we need to play hard. And that way, when people come, whether we win or lose, when people come, they can say, man, look, they didn't win, but I'm telling you, them boys play hard. Or there's something different about these guys. I'm going to go back next week and support. Because right now, from what I've seen on tape, we only come when the teams that we want to see play come. If we're playing Susie Lou State, nobody going to come. But boy, let Southern get there. Because we know Southern going to show up. So we don't want our school, because the Prairie View alumni, they got a lot of pride in Prairie View A&M. Lots of pride. And we don't want to be outdone. But man, we gotta do something to go help them. We're calling around now to do community service projects, and our kids are gonna go out and be out. And we're not like putting that stuff on social media, because we don't do it for that. We do it because it's better to give than to receive. But certainly, how dare we do anything, not do anything, and want somebody to come support us? But here's what I believe. Boy, when we come off that hill game 1, they gonna come game 2. Yeah. When we come off that hill game 1, and they hear that.
My name is Danny Wilson, and I won $500 on the lunch break with AJ Jones.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.